Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, and I'm Jim Williams still. It's Sean Miller over there. It was one for the ages, Sean. One for the ages. The World Cup final. One last time to break it down. Messi gets his cup. Mbappe scores a hat trick. Pretty much a little bit of everything for everybody, and ends in penalty kicks.
Yeah, I was close to walking out and going to do my Christmas shopping, and I just gave it a couple more minutes, and France tied it up. I had a bunch of futures on France, Mbappe to win the Golden Boot, so it was a little crazy the whole time there. France really had probably – Argentina probably should have won the game easily. The coach, I don't know what he was thinking, taking off Di Maria at that point. He changed the whole game. But France, after they tied it up, they had so many chances to win it. They went behind. They had a chance to win it in the last seconds.
Mm-hmm.
A little unlucky they didn't. If Molo squares the ball to Mbappe has 4 goals, and he's, it's the greatest, World Cup performance of all time. But look, Messi won. Penalties are a lottery. Lloris never saves penalties like De Gea. As soon as he went to penalties, I kind of figured it was going to be Argentina. But unbelievable tournament. It's amazing. Yesterday on Twitter, you still see people just talking about this soccer, and just like, how do you watch that game yesterday and not come away thinking that this is an amazing sport? But there's just people that are
well, the numbers are going to be good.
It's crazy. I see these guys, I saw some NBA guy bashing the World Cup, and I'm like, listen, nobody cares about the NBA right now. Like, nobody. The numbers are – the World Cup numbers compared to the NBA numbers are not even close. It's – at this point now, once again, I think because of this World Cup and now what's going to happen in the next couple, the next years, I'm going to say probably heading into the World Cup 2026 in America, that soccer will be probably a clear. They're never going to pass football. I think they've surpassed baseball. I think they surpassed hockey at this point. For viewership and fandom, and I think it's probably going to get close to basketball. It's an amazing sport, and the whole thing was the whole tournament. Look, once again, you can choose to include all the stuff with it, or you can choose to just talk about the soccer. And if you talk about the soccer, it was probably one of the best tournaments ever. So
let me ask you a question with regard to penalties.
Oh.
Would you, as a coach, put on your squad for lack of a better way of putting it, a penalty shot expert? In other words, somebody who's, they're graded every time they tee up the ball and kick it from the spot, to bring them in as a substitute in the final, minutes, so that
Argentina kind of did that. I think so. But in that game, I think France was just trying to get back in the game,
right?
And he had used so many subs just because of all the injuries, and people were kind of, he's just trying to get to penalties. So right. I think
they actually set a record. They got 7 subs. They got that one sub because of the concussion injury.
Yeah, Rabiot came off for the concussion. I think he was just trying to get to get 2 penalties, and Deschamps not a real big penalty. He just thinks it's a lottery. So I don't, sometimes you can sub on a keeper for that. Netherlands did that in 2014. Bring Tim Krul in, but look, there's 100 things you can do when you think about it after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they had taken off most of their main penalty takers, France. But once again, you're down 2-0. He made 2 subs in the first half, and he completely, it changed the game. So I think France was a little unlucky not to win in extra time. But you could say the same thing about Argentina. So,
Well, I guess the question is, was Argentina a great team with good players versus France, which was a good team with great players?
Here's the thing, you could say about France. Look, they got to penalties in a World Cup final without Paul Pogba, who's starting midfielder,
Mhm.
N'Golo Kante, who's starting midfielder, and Kunku, who would have started in this tournament. Teo Hernandez, who got hurt in the first game.
Mhm.
Lucas Hernandez did a very good job as well. They were missing Karim Benzema, the Ballon d'Or winner, although some people will argue that they play better without him. They're missing 5 starters from this team and got to penalties, and it was a lottery. They were this close to winning back-to-back World Cups with 5 starters out.
And they were down 2-0 with 15 minutes left to go.
Yeah. Look, yeah. I mean, it's the French squad. The French squad is in a much better place than the Argentina squad is going forward. Argentina never be this good again for years. Messi's an alien. He dragged these players to the tournament, to the title. There's no other way to say it. France has so many players coming through. When you look at the French U21 team and the U17 team, they could have 5 squads of players. They're so good. France will be there for years and years and years. I have no doubt France will win a World Cup in the next two tournaments, 2026 or 2030. They're just that good. They'll win another tournament somewhere. The Euros. They should be favored to win the Euros. I don't know if those odds are out. Let me see if those are out. They are. And right now, France and Germany are favored. I don't understand how Germany is favored at that point. But yeah, France will probably be the betting favorite for that going in. They're loaded. They're just so talented. So yeah, look, it was a great tournament. And now, you got today off, and tomorrow you got a whole day of Carabao Cup and La Liga, Copa del Rey, and we're right back into it.
Back to it. Yeah.
Yeah, next Monday. I mean, it's the Premier League. Next, the week after that during the week is La Liga and the other leagues come back. So from Boxing Day until it's a crazy stat. From Boxing Day until January 16th, there's a game in England, like either a Premier League, FA Cup, or Carabao Cup game every day except for the 29th of December, Thursday.
Wow.
Other than that, there's a game every single day. So it's going to be crazy. You're going to be, you get a chance to watch all these games, and if you started betting on them, and you get a chance to bet on them and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Let's change footballs and go over to the National Football League. And yesterday we saw the Chiefs taken to overtime by the Texans. Philadelphia did well. We saw the Cowboys lose. We saw, basically we're begging the question, is there really a good team in the NFL?
I think the Eagles are pretty good. But, once again, I just wrote a story. I still have a feeling that the 49ers could beat them. in 49ers are built to kind of win that game, in Philadelphia, because Philadelphia is going to host at this point. I don't think the Vikings are that good. Look, you can't go. Look, they won the game, but you can't go down 33-0 to a Colts team that has quit. I mean, it's just that's not any good. I think San Francisco is pretty good, but who's going to be the quarterback? Is Purdy going to be? They've won 7 in a row. I think the Chiefs offensively are pretty good. They can score a lot of points. Mahomes is ridiculous. And I think at some point this Texans team, they've lost 9 games in a row. They're the best 1-win team that's ever played. I mean, these games, you look at the scores, 30-24 to the Chiefs in overtime, 27-23 to the Cowboys, 24-16 to the Giants. The Eagles had to score late, 29-17, 17-10 Titans. They beat a Jaguars team who's on fire right now, 13-6, 34-24. I mean, every game is a 1-score game. It is. I don't put too much stock into that. The fact that they won the game, I think is more important. The Bills, the same thing. I mean, that was a tough game. The Dolphins are, 8-6, lost 3 in a row, but they gave them everything they could handle the other night. The team I think in the AFC that might be the best is the team that went to the Super Bowl last year. The Bengals are on fire since they gave Joe Burrow the play calling duties. He's been unbelievable. And this Bengals team now 10-4. They're leading the division now. I think they have.
They scored 34 points yesterday. Yeah. 34 points on the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
And here's the stat. They didn't break 200 yards in doing it. That's what happens when you gift teams. Brady had 2 picks and 2 fumbles. Both of them, all 4 of them, were on the Buccaneers side of the 50-yard line. So, the longest drive that they had that they did to take the lead in the game was basically about 46 yards.
It's interesting too,
if you're going to give it away like that, then
Yeah, if they win out, they have a chance. If they win out, they'll pass the Bills because they'll have a head-to-head win over them. So they'll at least be the 2nd seed, hosting all the way till the semifinal, the NFL Division I. And they could, if the Chiefs end up losing, they could get home field. So
well, the Jaguars might be the Raiders of last year. The team that makes the playoffs at the last minute, and because they just keep playing well.
That's Detroit in the NFC too. Look at the Titans. The Jaguars right now are 1 game back of the Titans right now, and they play the final game of the season. The Jaguars have a massive game on Thursday night. The huge win yesterday, pick 6 in overtime. Excuse me. If they can win this game against the Jets on Thursday night and get to 7-8, and the Titans. See, the Titans have to play the Texans, the Cowboys, and then the Jaguars. If the Titans go, if the Jags go 2-1 here, and beat the Titans, and the the Titans lose to the Cowboys, they'll win the division.
Yeah. Foxy, how you doing? Why are the Chiefs so bad? They're not that bad. They cost me.
So, Foxy, I don't know what your book is, but what I've been doing lately with these NFL games is, because of the extra pointage so far, I never leave it at 6.5. I always make it 6. So at least you'll push there. So if your book lets you kind of put that line down a little bit or something like that, or maybe you can put it down to 5.5, because the extra points aren't a lock now. So I usually, when I used to tease it, move the line down to 6.5, now I'll move it down to 5.5. So if your book lets you do that, try to do that. But yeah, look, I mean, that Texans team is they're tough, man. They have one win. I mean, if they get a quarterback in the draft,
Mhm.
if they go out and they pick, they're going to get their choice, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud. If he can come in and be good the first day, this team is going to be really improved next year because they're tough. I mean, they play everybody tough. They just don't win games.
100%. Yeah, it's a good team. Speaking of not good teams, though, uh, Brady and the Bucks up 17-0. Then, as I said before, they gift Cincinnati the ball. Obviously, Cincinnati has to score, but they did that. And to your point on the extra points, the Buccaneers had a touchdown wiped off the board. Or no, I'm sorry, they scored, and then they got a 15-yard penalty and had a 45-yard extra point, which was missed. And I'm sorry, that was Washington. Let me just go back. That was Washington. Washington in the game last night against the Giants got called for a pick on a play, and then ended up with a 45-yard extra point after they scored, and you know they missed it. So that was one of those things. So no, there is no such thing as automatic extra points anymore.
Yeah, that's one thing. Since they moved this back to that distance, I won't. I will always. If I'm putting a parlay in, I always put a line down to 5.5 and put a parlay in. If it's a 10-point game, if the spread is 10, instead of I used to put it down to 6.5. Now you do it down to 5.5 because you give yourself a little bit of leeway there for the in case one extra point. Yeah, Foxy, they were something. Yeah, they were 14. The Texans are, it's tough. They play well every once in a while, but the Chiefs, you just don't know how good they are defensively. They struggle every once in a while. I think at some point, that's going to end up costing them in the playoffs. It did last year.
Well, I mean, you're going to have to go a long way without the California band involved to beat the Pats and the Raiders in yesterday when they started that stupid lateral situation. And oh, by the way, it just gets picked off by a linebacker from the Raiders who takes it in for the winning score. So, the only thing that was missing in that play was carnival music.
Yeah, it's, hey, what are you doing? Get to overtime. Go to overtime. Take, regroup. You're not scoring on those plays. They never work. What are you doing? There's, look, I mean, it's never happened like that where, he caught the ball and, but it's just like, I don't understand what you're doing. Just go down. The game's over. You get to overtime. You regroup. And just the throw was stupid. Like, I don't even know what he's doing. Like, you're just watching it. You're like, what is he doing? What is he doing? Like, why are you throwing the ball that far across the field? Like, you're not a quarterback. It's just a joke. Like, I feel bad. If you had the Raiders, imagine if you had the Patriots in that game or something like that, and you're just sitting there looking at it. I would have thrown my TV out the window. I would have been so mad. Between that and the Colts game, if I had the Colts in that game and and I'm watching and that happened, or if I had the Patriots, I probably would have thrown one of my TVs out. I would have been so mad. That would have been my last game I probably would have bet. I won on 49ers, Vikings, Bills, Eagles, and then Chiefs caused me. I have to say that Vikings game looked pretty suspect. Anyway, yeah, Foxy. It was 33-0. I had a what did I have? A 4-team same game parlay on Justin Jefferson over 100 yards to score a touchdown, Cousins over 255, and the Vikings to win. And I'm just, I threw, you stop watching. You get to a point, 17-0, 24-0. You're like, I'm not even paying attention. And then, I was doing some stuff. I come home and I'm looking at TV. I'm like, how the hell is this an 8-point game? And then then they scored on that crazy play, and they're like, man, the Vikings are going to win this. They're probably going to win. I thought they were going to win it in regulation, to be honest. But
they came close.
Yeah. I mean, it's just you watch this stuff as a fan, or same thing yesterday, that World Cup game. If you're watching as a fan and you're not betting on it, you just feel like your mouth is open. Like this is the craziest game I've ever seen. But,
well, our friend Ray Hudson this morning on the show, the morning show on Sirius XM, has a watch, an Apple Watch that because he has heart issues, monitors his heart. And in the middle of the game yesterday, when France had tied it, the watch spoke out to him and said, "Ray, do we need to call an ambulance?" So, fortunately, they didn't. It was just a matter of Ray's adrenaline level getting up there pretty high. But to your point, yeah, if you have no real skin in the game on this one, it was just a phenomenal game, and clearly that almost sent Hudson to the hospital. Tonight, Rams Packers. There's a match that, if at the beginning of the season you would have thought, okay, well, this could be for the number 1 seed in the National Football Conference, but tonight it's just another game.
Yeah, I mean, the Packers should win, but I don't even know. I can't even imagine who's going to watch this game. I mean, people will watch it, but who cares? I mean, this is like the biggest.
It's a friends and family game.
What's that? Yeah, friends and family. Yeah, look, who cares? I mean, it's amazing these Monday night games. Next week is the Chargers and the Colts. Who knows? I guess it's all right. And then the final, Buffalo Cincinnati is a big one. But the Thursday night games, Dallas, Tennessee, and Jacksonville Jets are much bigger games right now than these Monday night games.
Well, the concept, and when NBC got the rights to Sunday Night Football, and they flipped it from ABC took over, or ESPN took over Monday night, and then the whole concept was always to do a flex. And this year they've only flexed one game from a daytime game to a nighttime game. And next week we're going to get the same thing we got this week, which is a Thursday game, 3 Saturday games, then a slate on Sunday, and then a Monday. There's only a couple more Monday Night Football games left because they never do the Monday night game on the final game of the season. They don't do that.
They just do one Sunday.
Right.
If I had to think, if I had to guess which game they'd flex that last week to the night, Cincinnati, no. Kansas City, Vegas, no. Jets, Miami, maybe Jets, Miami. That could be for a playoff spot. Eagles will have already.
Who's worth the Bengals? The Bengals have a game that night. I think might be
Baltimore Bengals. Yeah, it could be that. If that's for the division, that could be that could be the That could be the game. Tennessee Jacksonville could be for the division title. That could be the game. Dallas Washington could be for the playoffs.
I'll tell you what, I will guarantee you here and now that they're not going to flex Jacksonville and Indianapolis. It's just not going to happen.
Jacksonville, Tennessee, yeah, probably not.
Those are two teams that, the majority of the people outside of those two cities can't name 3 players.
Yeah.
So they'll go bigger market.
Dallas, I would guess Dallas, Washington, or the Jets, Miami, if they both mean something. If the Giants Eagles game means something, that could go. But the Eagles will have already clinched the top spot by then, so probably won't mean anything. Baltimore, Cincinnati, once again, if that's for the division title, that probably could go there.
Yeah, the Baltimore Bengals and the Baltimore Steelers games usually are, slugfests. So I would say that's got a chance. What's the one that's slotted in there now?
What's that?
What's the one? What game is slotted in there now?
Oh, on the final week?
Yeah.
They don't have any times. It's all TBD.
Oh, okay. So they don't know yet. Okay.
Yeah. It's all.
Yeah, I mean, if it comes down to it, and it might, Baltimore and Baltimore and Cincinnati might be a compelling game because at that point you probably would have Lamar Jackson back, and you've got Joe Burrow and all that craziness. And who are the 49ers? I guess the 49ers will have the division by that point.
Yeah, they've already they clinched the division, so they could still they would play Arizona. That's probably not a game there. Dallas, Washington, Tennessee, Jacksonville, New York, Miami, the Jets, Miami, and Baltimore, Cincinnati. Probably the 4 games that will mean something.
Yeah.
Just with both teams that would mean something. Kansas City, Las Vegas, maybe, but probably not.
I would think that the games that the 4 games you talked about, I think would be any one of those 3 would be it, because you want that. Dallas, Washington always gets a good number. I would think that Baltimore and Cincinnati would be compelling because it's a division where people pay attention to the fact that that's kind of like the Rust Belt division. And it's always, there's always snow at that point in time. So there's something to look forward to in that. Yeah, there's a lot going on. I looked at the slate today of events, and there really isn't any college basketball worth talking about. I guess it was all played over the weekend.
Slow week. Slow. I think that usually this week before Christmas, most of these teams are home. Usually.
Right. It's a funny thing in the bowl game this weekend between Oregon State and Florida was that for 37 seconds in the game, the Gators kicked it down 33-0. The Gators kicked a field goal to keep their record alive of the team with the most consecutive games, not being shut out. So talk about a hollow situation. It's like, oh wait, quick, let's just kick a field goal because that'll keep us from having this infamous record going.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Totally silly.
It's just some of the bowl games were, I don't know if you
I saw a little Fresno State.
Yeah, that was interesting, and the Frank Gore, was. I watched a little of the Troy game. Oregon State, I loved them in that game. Fresno State, I loved them in that game. The Southern Miss game. I mean, Frank Gore ran for 329 yards and 2 touchdowns and threw for another one. So, big Frank Gore Jr., which is crazy that he's already a Frank Gore Jr. here playing. But he had 1,300 yards all season and then ran for 329 in the bowl game. So he's clearly moving up the charts on some of these coaches' things. BYU SMU was a really good 1-point game. Boise State North Texas was a very good game. I think some of these early bowl games have been interesting. So that's pretty cool.
It's funny, we have a lot of players that are sitting these bowl games out, and it for the most part, you bring up the name Frank Gore. Most of it was because of Frank Gore. Frank Gore in the championship game against Ohio State when he was with Miami, got smacked in the knee, and he went for a first-round draft choice. He probably could have had an amazing career in the NFL to knee surgery, and he got into the NFL and had a pretty decent career, but not the career that I think everybody was expecting, simply because of that injury he got in the bowl games. So certainly everybody's opting out, so you have to be careful when looking at these things for betting purposes as to who is actually going to play.
Yeah, that's right. It's at this point, you got to. Most of the players that are opting out are probably have already done so. But I think when you have even if they're in practice and there's a little injury or something like that, I mean, where some during the regular season they might play, they might not play in a game. If it's something like that, like at this point now, they might just say, I'm shutting it down. I'm not gonna risk myself here.
I'm not gonna push myself. And we did speak about the potential of the NIL money being used as a bowl incentive to get these guys to play. And maybe that is the future. We don't know. It isn't what's going on right now, so that's not going to help that. But it will. I don't think any of the big four, the final four, is going to be affected at this point. Looks like everybody, all the key players in the final four of the college football playoffs are going to be there. So that's all good. So anyway, any final thoughts today, or we
I'm just ready for. I'm sure Foxy's the same way here. Foxy, I'm gonna. I know he's ready to watch his Newcastle team play tomorrow, and we're through with this the spectacle of the nation, and now the true games can start back up for the teams that we actually support, not just because we were born in a certain spot of land, but the team we actually actively chose to support as a kid or as an adult or something like this. So those games are back, and I think that's good for everybody. And once again, I mean, look, everybody on here obviously is probably a sports fan or whatever. But I think if you're a fan of the World Cup, just tune into some games this week on ESPN Plus. You'll see these cup games, and you'll see, tiny teams, League One, League Two, going up against Premier League teams, and league, second and third division teams going up against La Liga teams, and it's, you'll see that again after Christmas with the FA Cup, and it's, the upsets, all the stuff that made this World Cup so special, you're going to get to see all for the rest of the season. So, don't just, put your remote away, your soccer remote away until, 2026 or 2024. Yeah, but now the football returns. This is the actual, if you thought that Argentina or the France team was good, wait till you see PSG, wait till you see, Manchester City. Wait till you see, Manchester United.
PSG plays Wednesday at 6 in the morning.
Do they?
Yep. In a friendly. And then next Wednesday at 3 o'clock, they play Strasbourg.
Okay. I wasn't sure when that. I thought the league started. They start the week after Chris. Like I know the La Liga and La Liga start like the 27th, 28th, 29th. So there's it's just wall to wall action. I mean, there's going to be so much stuff to watch. But yeah, look, it's
they play in the friendly Quali. I know I'm ruining his name. Quali Bruren Metropole.
Which one? Lille?
It's QUEVILLY ROUEN. 2 words.
I think that's a second division team. I think that's a second division team. I don't even know.
They're a French team, but I don't think they're in the top league.
Yeah, no. It's either second. It's League 2, I think. Second division.
Okay.
I feel like it's.
And then they play Strasbourg, which is in first division.
Could be a cut.
Wednesday the 28th. So they play on 2 consecutive Wednesdays.
Yeah, that's what's going to be. Look, you're going to, once again, the league's usually Sundays, but now because of the World Cup took 5, basically it wasn't just 4 weeks. It was, it was 4 weeks and a week before and a week after. So it's 6 weeks where you could add games. And, that 6 weeks, usually the Premier League is playing 8 games. So, they got to put 8. They're going to. So now you're going to see all the way through until the international break again in March, and then all the way through to the end of the season. Midweek games. They're going to be playing games. Liverpool or Arsenal, Manchester City, I know, are making up a game in February during the Champions League, which never happens. But there's nowhere to put these games now. So, but if you're a fan, it's going to be all kinds of stuff, and I know we'll be on here. Yeah. Just a friendly Quevilly Rin. Yes. Foxy, second division. I thought they played PSG played Paris as well, the Ligue 2 team. The other day I remember seeing that. But they if you like this stuff, I mean, we're going to be talking about it a lot. We're going to have a show. We're going to have, obviously Foxy comes on, but we'll be talking a lot about these games every day and making picks on Capital Sports Network. So make sure you tune in once that schedule is set for
and don't forget, we're going to do some watch parties on football, college sports football, and maybe some playoff football. And obviously Saturday mornings will be a lot of fun because we'll have plenty to talk about and plenty to watch then too.
Yeah, that's right.
So be sure to mark down and save this page.
That's correct.
I mean, we got to do it, if nothing else, for Foxy.
That's right.
He's the guy. All right, boys and girls. Any final questions before we move on? I guess not. Okay. Well, for my good friend Sean Miller, I'm Jim Williams. We'll see you tomorrow at approximately 9 a.m. Have a good day and stay warm if you're in the east, because, man, it is cold out there.